Enjoy your family. Enjoy the time you have with people, because you never know how long their time is going to last, right? We've got lots of craziness and going on right now, and you just never know. I'm telling you these things because I'm reminding myself, okay? I am not a perfect person that is, you know, remembering to give everybody kisses goodbye and remembering to hug everybody and tell them that I love them and all this different stuff. I don't remember to do that stuff. This video is brought to you by Sportland. Quality, integrity, and tradition. So we got a service call on a kitchen AC not working, and when I came up onto the roof, the first thing that I did was I could smell a really strong burning smell. So I spun the condenser fan blades before I turned anything off, just to make sure they were spinning. The condenser is definitely dirty. I don't know if that comes across on camera, but it's pretty dirty. And I went over here to the electrical section, opened this up. Nothing jumped out at me, you know, seemed to be all okay. But it smells really strong. And then I saw this. Like, there's something going on there. It's kind of weird looking. And then I came in here, and yeah, that's a burnt inlet side of that disconnect switch. It's all crispity, crunchity, and peanut buttery. Smells all nice and good in there. So look at that fuse, man. Woo, that boy's hot. So we're gonna need to change this disconnect switch, I'm sure of it. But I want to test to see if it blew the breaker or the fuses downstairs when it burnt, or if we're still energized. It smells like it's still energized. We've got the Field Piece SC480. Look, it'll make everybody happy, and I'll finally peel off the plastic. I know I get a lot of crazy people that go nuts when I leave the plastic on my tools. I like them to last as long without getting scratched as possible. That one's finally coming off. So $199, that's pretty typical for this location. It'll actually get worse than that as the heat kicks up. $200, $199. So we still have power here. Now, out of curiosity, did we blow a fuse? Yeah, the fuse is blown. Fuse 1. Fuse 2 is still good. Fuse 3 is still good. These things are kind of loose in there. Kind of odd. So we're gonna need to get some electrical wire, because I don't have enough slack in this to make it up. So I'm gonna have to get some electrical wire, and I'm gonna need a new disconnect switch. Now, I happen to have disconnect switches at the shop. I don't have them with me right now. They'll have to wait. But what we'll have to do is come down here and put a junction box, and then we'll have to extend the wiring length so that way it can make it up into there appropriately. So we're gonna find out exactly what we need. Just because we see 60 amp fuses in there does not necessarily mean those are what's supposed to be in this unit. So we're gonna come over here and look right here. We don't have any accessories. We have an economizer, but that's not gonna affect anything. We don't have a power exhaust. So minimum unit disconnect size is 52 amps. Maximum fuse or circuit breaker is 60 amps. So we're gonna put 60 amp fuses back in this guy. So we need some 60 amp fuses. We need a new disconnect switch. I think I'm gonna have to get in there. I think that's number 6 wire. I'm gonna have to, I can't really show it on camera, but I'll look. Oh yeah, it's number 6. I can see it on the wiring back there. So it's number 6. So we'll get some number 6 wire. We'll get a junction box to a 3/4 inch conduit that's big enough to make splice connections. We'll probably get some splicing lugs from the electrical supply house. And then we'll repair that, put the splicing lugs in a box right there, extend the wire up, and then we'll do a condenser coil cleaning. But before I leave, what I want to do, power is turned off, is I want to come over here and I want to test all the contactors and compressors to ground to make sure nothing grounded out before we come back with just a disconnect switch. So I'm gonna test everything real quick. All right, in the electrical section, what I did was I used my alligator clamp, clamped it to a ground source. We've got a good ground reference right there. So the meter does tone and it does continuity. So, okay. So then we're gonna go to the load side of every contactor, verifying nothing's changing. No, it's not. Moving our way down the line. Come on and on over here. Nothing, 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 nothing. We're actually doing line and load. Nothing, nothing. I'm paying attention as I'm doing this, making sure nothing shorted to ground, nothing, nothing. So nothing there. It doesn't look like this is a issue right here, but we will. No, I don't think there's any issues right there. Power is turned off. I think that that's just nastiness. Yeah, it's just nastiness. This one, I think I did a video on this, like maybe like a year after the warranty expired. They had a big old leak on the condenser and I was able to repair it, cut it back and clean it. It's been working good since. I cannot see through the condenser. Normally you can on these guys. It also looked like someone didn't properly wash off all the coil cleaner that they used last time, because it looks like there might be a little residual coil cleaner left over. But yeah, I'm not really seeing anything else as a problem. So we're going to bring the disconnect switch, the electrical wire, junction box. We'll go to 3/4, splicing lugs, make it work. We are back today. So got my backpack, gonna strap that on. Got the Vito CT XL. That bag is awesome. I shoved so much stuff in there. Got a bandsaw, disconnect, conduit, fittings, all kinds of stuff. Got my rope. So climb up with the backpack, rope that up, minimal trips up and down. So let's get up there and get this figured out. All right, I've got power turned off and isolated. We want to test to make sure we've got no power. It's dead, it's dead, it's dead. And then you also want to check it to ground, verify. 1, 2, 3. So we're good to ground. There's no voltage here. So we're going to proceed with this repair. The first part is just to disassemble everything, get it pulled down to the EMT conduit, and then we'll put a box on it and, you know, mount the new disconnect. The new disconnect, I like going with the GE disconnects. They're a little bit smaller. I don't know, there's just something about these that I like. They just work well for me. So we're gonna put this guy on and go from there. All right, I got our disconnect switch mounted. Look at, summertime is almost here. It's 104 today. It's only May, so our average summer temp where we're at right now will at least be 110 from June through the beginning of September. But it's getting there, it's creeping up. It's supposed to cool down again tomorrow. It's kind of up, down. But got the disconnect switch mounted and leveled. Typically what I do is line it up to the hole going through, and then put the screws, being careful not to drill into the condenser. Got this guy set right here, and it's gonna go right there into that junction box. I got splicing lugs to go in here. I need to go get a fitting adapter because those are 1-inch fittings and I need to reduce down to 3/4. What I typically do is connect this up here, and then I'm going to take it downstairs and cut my wire, because I have a spool of number 8, and I'd rather not have to, or number 6? 6 or 8? I can't remember what it is that I got. Whatever it is. I think it's 6. I got a spool of number 6 from the shop, and I don't want to bring the whole spool up here, so I just cut this, bring it down there, add an extra 3 feet on the top, an extra 12 inches on the bottom, and then that way I'll have plenty of wire to make the splices and do everything I need to do. So we're gonna go downstairs and grab all that stuff. All right, it was kind of a pain in the butt. I ended up having to pull all new wire into here because it was too short too. So we're connected here, here, and here. I went ahead, because when I did the installation a while back, I ran zip ties up in here. So I was able to reuse the same zip ties. You just cut the old stuff out, run new zip ties through the holes. So that's all good. I was also able to get a bushing put on this, so that way it doesn't rub out, because I was a little worried about that. It was a little difficult to get this bushing on because you had to tighten that thing down super tight, but so far so good. I still need to get some fuses. Disconnect switch is all here. Everything's good. We're grounded. Try to use these bushings whenever possible. I don't always have them, but I do today. We used splicing lugs. They're Polaris connectors. Made sure I stripped them back correctly. Everything's good. They're all nice and good. Everything fits in there. We're not too crowded or anything. I'll put a cover on that. We'll tighten it down because it's a little loose, but that's all connected from the bottom. So yeah, we're moving along. I got to send someone, either myself. I'm going to see. I have another guy here working on something else. So if he's almost done, I'll send him to go get me some fuses. I picked up this insulated torque driver from TruTech Tools too. I'm a little interested. I mean, I'm intrigued at how many connections I have under tightened or over tightened with this one. This one, surprisingly, I feel like I wouldn't have tightened these as tight as you need to. It says max 50 foot-pounds, and man, that's pretty tight. But that's pretty cool. You can set it right there. You have a special little tool. It's like a whole little kit right here. And you use this tool to set the torque rating, and you got all these different bits. The only thing I wish it had was I wish it had an 1/8" Allen torque driver or driver for this, because when I was doing the lug connectors, it uses an 1/8" Allen to set the wire down, and I didn't have the right one to be able to use this for that. So I would have liked that, but it's a pretty cool little set. All right, I'm waiting for fuses, but I put used fuses in there temporarily. I found one good one in my van, 2 old ones. We're not gonna leave it like that, but this is just so we can test it. I disconnected the 24 volt, one of the legs to the transformer, so the unit won't turn on. I need to test phase rotation, so we're gonna go meter, and then let's see if we can do this. Line 3, 2, 1. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna be running backwards. Let's confirm it. Give this guy a bump. And yeah, we're running backwards. So we need to reverse the phase rotation. Shut it off there. And I can reverse it at these 2 guys right here. All I gotta do is swap these 2. All right, let's test this again. I reverse the phases. So this is the phase rotation test. I didn't do it fast enough. It's a little difficult with one hand. Let's see if we can do this a little bit better. There we go. Okay. There we go. Line 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it does a phase rotation in the SC480 from Fieldpiece. So we should be good. If I push this guy in, yes, it's now running in the right direction, and we have 3 phase going to this unit. So I'm gonna go and put the blower door back on, block the condenser off, and let this unit run for a few minutes, cool down the kitchen, and then we'll turn it off, and someone should be back with the fuses by then, and then we'll clean the condenser also. All right, we're running with some of the Refrigeration Technologies Viper Bright Cleaner. Now, I'm not gonna split this condenser today because I don't have another person to help me, and I honestly don't think it's too bad on the inside because I was washing it and it's coming through pretty good. So we're just gonna apply to the outside, let it sit, let the cleaner get on there. You can see it foaming up. And then we'll let it sit for a few minutes, then we'll give it a good rinse, and we'll rinse it from the out or inside out also. And then we'll finish troubleshooting the unit. I still don't know. I'm assuming that the disconnect failed because of a loose connection. What was interesting though was everything was tight, but it could have just been tight because it melted itself together, you know what I'm saying? So it's hard to say, but we're just gonna let this keep sitting on here. You do have to be careful because the Viper Bright will etch the coil. So you want to get it off as soon as possible. You just, want it to do its magic first. So, all right, so give this guy a little rinse. Again, I'm not going to be able to get to the other side, but look at the stuff coming out. It's pretty grody. I'm not going to be able to split it today, but we'll just keep rinsing. But oh yeah, look at that. That's mud coming out. So we're probably going to have to schedule to have this condenser split. I just can't do it right now. Got all heck breaking loose right now. Got an ice machine down. Got to finish this. I've been here for a good part of the day doing this repair. So, and this place has a walk-in freezer issue. That's why I got the cover off the condenser over there. So it's just one of those days, but keep on rinsing. All right, I'm over here in the shade because it's a little warm over there. The AC's running its little heart away. Airflow looks to be a little wonky. It's going to be on this unit. Temperature split is high. I expect that much. I think this is a 10-ton unit is the way I set it up. So superheat's a hair on the low side. What's going to happen is the airflow in the superheat will get better because I closed the outside air damper for the AC, so it was only bringing in building air, and they have crappy ductwork. But when I open up the outside air damper, everything's going to get a little bit better. But I'm not seeing anything too crazy here. All right, let's switch over to the second stage. Second stage, let's see, we're looking about the same on the superheat. Pressure's pretty close to being the same. Everything's about, now subcooling's high on both of them because we're getting discharge pressure. This is a carrier unit. Use fixed orifice metering device on this guy. So discharge line temp seems fine. 90 degrees outside air temp. The outside air temp has certainly dropped. It was well over 100 earlier, but it's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so it's kind of starting to cool off. Again, temp split's a little high, but it's going to be that way. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything too crazy. I'm pretty satisfied with this guy. I'm just going to go start testing some currents to make sure we're not running over current. I got my new fuses here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 new fuses in here, 3 spares, and then there's actually more fuses downstairs. So I'm going to replace the 3 fuses downstairs also. And then I'll keep the rest for in my truck because I was out of them. But I don't see any other real problems. Everything's running on this unit. It's kicking butt, doing the best that it can. It's hotter than heck in that kitchen. But yeah, everything looks good. Condenser doesn't look too bad as far as pressures go. I'd still like to split it, but I think we're good for now. So as long as I don't see any weird current issues or anything like that, we're gonna wrap this one up.
So in my videos, you know, I've talked about it before that I have a affiliate discount thing set up with TruTech Tools. Okay, TruTech Tools is not technically a sponsor of my channel. I just happen to have like a referral thing with them. Okay, but I use TruTech Tools, and that's the cool thing about all the, if you want to call them sponsors or whatever on my channel, even though I just said TruTech isn't a sponsor, is that I'm very picky about the people that I work with. And I typically, whether it be Fieldpiece, TruTech, Sporlin, Heatcraft, Refrigeration Technologies, I'm very picky about the people that I work with. And I typically don't take partnerships or deals or anything with people that I don't like their products. Okay, TruTech Tools is someone that I've used their products for many years before I even started YouTube, right? I mean, I've always used their stuff. So I have a program set up with them where if you go to TruTechTools.com and you use my offer code, big picture, one word, big picture, you get an 8% discount on checkout, and I get a small commission every single time you use that offer code. Now, I used to have affiliate links and stuff, but we eliminated that. So now it's just the offer code. So I'm going to make a better effort of talking about tools that, you know, I'm using. And just for your information, everything, and I'm not saying this will never happen, but everything that I use in my videos, those tools are not like free tools. Okay. I have purchased those tools and or done deals where, you know, those tools are part of my compensation package, but I don't have any of that with TruTech Tools. So whenever I'm referring to TruTech Tools, it's tools that I have purchased. Okay. So, and I typically don't want to be shelling or recommending stuff that I don't truly like, you know, and of course there's always going to be flaws and different things, but I'm going to try to make a better effort of starting to talk about the tools a little bit more, because a lot of people ask me about what my opinions are on tools and things like that. So, you know, when I talk about them, check it out, see if it's something you're interested in. I was very surprised with that torque driver. I couldn't believe how tight you actually had to get some of that stuff. And it almost made me feel uncomfortable, you know, like, okay, here we go. You know, I was afraid something was going to break, but no, that's the torque specs that the manufacturer wants you to use. I was completely surprised with that. So far so good, but I am a little bit disappointed in the WIHA driver because it just didn't have an 1/8" extension. I think it should have had an 1/8" extension. And then what's the other one too? Because some of the other disconnects have a bigger Allen. I can't remember the size. So I'm going to have to figure that one out. Maybe I can just get an extension, but I do dig that little WIHA tool. So anyways, with this video, I was here actually working on their walk-in cooler and changing an evaporator fan motor. And I noticed that the kitchen was warm. So I jumped up on the roof real quick And that's the beginning of the video when you saw me seeing the disconnect switch smelling funky. So I came back the next day, and then they're like, hey, the walk-in freezer's a problem. It was just like one thing after another at this place. But so when I was changing the walk-in cooler, or repairing the fan motor, I didn't make a video on that one. I noticed that the evaporator coil was really dirty. So that's why in the video I said I had another tech working on something else. He was cleaning the evaporator coil for the walk-in cooler. Then when he was done with that, I had him go get me fuses, and so that way I could stay on the job site. But this was just a textbook, in my opinion, a loose electrical connection on the line side of the disconnect switch. Okay, when you have loose electrical connections, it starts to cause issues. And clearly we were having some heating issues. It actually melted the internals of the disconnect switch. So I was able, luckily, to have a disconnect switch in the shop. And this is something that I'm very cautious about doing, but at the same time, I've been trying to be proactive. So if I need a disconnect switch, I usually buy 2 or 3 at a time right now. Because of the shortages, I'm trying to stock up, not crazy, not having 10 of them or anything like that, but I usually have 1 or 2 of the most common components that I'm replacing. So disconnect switches, I happen to have one in the shop, and it made it easy because then I was just able to head back home for the night, swing by the shop in the morning, pick up the disconnect switch, hit the electrical supply house, get the Polaris connectors, and then come back. And even the Polaris connectors, I bought an entire box so that way I had a bunch of them. So we try to stock up as much as possible. Putting everything back together really wasn't that difficult. It's just a matter of disassembling everything, finding the right size, length, and wire and fittings and everything like that, and trying to be smart. I didn't want to bring a whole spool of number 6 up onto the roof because I have a 500-foot spool, or 250-foot, whatever it is. It's a big old spool, and I don't want to carry that up on the roof. So cut the conduit up on the roof, take it downstairs, get the right size wire, put it back together. Once I got the electrical started back up, I didn't see any other issues with the unit. I mean, tested current on everything, no real issues. Refrigerant vitals looked pretty good. Now, there's something I wanted to address too. I don't put my gauges on every system. I do have to say that because of the videos, I probably put my gauges on more systems than I normally would, okay? Because I'm often trying to show, what's going on within the system. With like the app that I was using in this one, Measure Quick, there's good things and bad things about Measure Quick. There's good things and bad things about the Field Piece app. I go between the two depending on what I'm working on. If I want to see more vitals and more information, I'll jump into Measure Quick. But Measure Quick usually has a few more hoops you have to jump through to get to certain things. They updated to version 2 and or 2.0 or something like that. And with version 2.0, there was some learning curves that I had to get through, but I realized how quickly you can bypass all the stuff that they added to it and just simply go to the measurement screen. So that's what I did. It's just like using the classic version again. I've learned how to work through that and eliminate the customer information because I'm not making reports per se. I just like to see data in front of my eyes. Very important too when you're using Field Piece app, Testo app, Measure Quick app, whatever app you're using, you have to understand how to interpret the data. Right? You have to understand when something is wrong. When it says your suction line temperature's, 90 degrees, well, maybe you put your clamp on the wrong line. Maybe you put your suction clamp on the liquid line, or who knows, okay? So don't just assume that because an app tells you that this is what's going on or this is good, that, you still have to be able to look at the data and know what's up. And also you need to know the limitations of your equipment. I'm very familiar with my equipment, and I know that this particular restaurant runs low voltage all the time. That's a normal thing, okay? There's nothing you could do about it. I don't care what everybody in the comments is going to say. I need to call the utility. Trust me, the utility ain't going to do nothing. It's been like this for 15 years that I've been working at this location. Low voltage, okay? It happens all over Southern California. I've seen 186 volts at this location. No, 188 volts at this location in the middle of the summer. Now, when I see 188 volts, yeah, I'm telling them to call the utility. And you know what the utility does? The utility will literally show up to the restaurant at midnight when the voltage is higher because there's less demand and it's cooler outside. So they tend to have higher voltage late in the evening, lower voltage in the hottest part of the day, okay, when the demand is high and everything. It's a power delivery issue from the utility, and they definitely could do things, but whether or not they want to because of money or who knows, it's a whole thing. But 190, 199. Actually, the 199 volts is fine. Okay, it's a bummer. Yeah, there's ramifications because of it, but it's a typical thing here. But you have to know the limitations. I know this restaurant really well, so I know they have ductwork issues in the AC. I know, a lot of this stuff. One of the cool things that I will say about some of the technology, whether it be Field Piece or Measure Quick, is the ability to save information, especially with Measure Quick, because you can benchmark the data. So if you're having multiple technicians, now I don't do this. I have not gotten to this point yet because my technicians don't use Measure Quick very much, okay? Or the Field Piece app, to be honest with you. Most of them don't even use digital probes, right? Most of them are using like a digital gauge set. One of my guys actually has digital probes, and I'm slowly starting to get him comfortable with them. But my entire crew does not perform like I do, okay? They're still learning. They're still working their way up and being more comfortable with digital. But the cool thing is that you have the ability to benchmark data, so that way the next time one of my employees logs into, if I set it up this way, theoretically, if one of my employees logs in to work on the same package unit, they can see the data that I said is how this system runs. I can benchmark it, so that way every time they log into it, they see, okay, this is how this is supposed to operate. So that way they're not chasing a ghost trying to find ductwork issues or anything that I've already identified. So I need to get better at using those features. I haven't really yet. I haven't gotten comfortable using the benchmarking and different things, but I like the concept and it's a cool idea. All right. There's not really much more to address with this one other than if you guys are interested in supporting the channel, please check out my website, hvacrvideos.com. We have merchandise available on there. There's other ways to support the channel, truetechtools.com. Use my offer code BIGPICTURE. You get an 8% discount. I get a small commission. You can go to support the channel via PayPal, Patreon, YouTube channel memberships, which are all just monthly commitments to donate X number of whatever you want to donate to the channel. But the easiest, simplest way to support this channel is watch the videos from beginning to end without skipping through anything, without using ad blockers. That's the easiest way. You let YouTube handle all the dirty work, okay? I really, really appreciate you all. It is amazing the support that I get from you all. Remember, this is a crazy world right now. We could all use a little more kindness. We really could. You never know what another person's going through. Not justifying another person being a jerk, okay? But just remember, they could be having the worst day of their life, Enjoy your family. Enjoy the time you have with people, because you never know how long their time is going to last, right? We've got lots of craziness and going on right now, and you just never know. I'm telling you these things because I'm reminding myself, okay? I am not a perfect person that is, remembering to give everybody kisses goodbye and remembering to hug everybody and tell them that I love them and all this different stuff. I don't remember to do that stuff. This is coming to me right now, and I'm saying this to remind myself, and hopefully you get something from it too. Time is precious. Remember to spend time with your loved ones. Okay, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when it's going to be your last day. Be kind to one another. I really appreciate you. Your support is amazing, and we will catch you on the next one, okay?